Buongiorno a tutti, mi chiamo Charlotte e oggi faccio un video sulle barzellette in italiano. Ok? Andiamo, let's go. Hello everyone, this is a video mainly for my Italian club members. So every first Tuesday of the month I record a video and I send the link to that video to my club members along with a handout. Only club members get this handout, but here's a little sneak preview. On the bottom you'll have throughout you'll have exercises that you can complete to test and solidify your understanding of the content of the video and the handout. There's also a link there. Here the link will take you to this video as it happens, but also a link to further resources on this kind of subject. So there's a really nice one there which will take you to the Times Educational Supplement website for a free sample download of a book on jokes. Help yourself to learn Italian with jokes, basically. Ok, cominciamo? Sì. Okay, so if you're familiar with my videos, what I tend to do is I will analyse an aspect or a theme, an aspect of the Italian language or a kind of theme, and we'll look at the language in some examples. So here we have la prima barzelletta. Mamma, dice un bambino, mamma, hai visto il blackout? Mamma, hai visto il blackout? Mummy, Mum, did you see the blackout? Did you see it when everything went dark, all the lights went off? Mamma, hai visto il blackout? Now what do you think the answer might be? Hai visto il blackout? Okay, so here's the answer. No. No, tesoro. No, my darling. No, my treasure. Tesoro means treasure. No, tesoro. Era tutto buio. Now, what does that mean? Era tutto buio. Okay, well, buio means dark. Okay, il buio, the dark. It was all dark. It was dark. Non ho potuto veder niente. I wasn't able to see anything. Perché era tutto buio. Okay, so that's just a silly little one there. But Mamma, hai visto? Have you seen or did you see? So in English we tend to say did you see. That's the passato prossimo. Something that's happened, that's done and dusted. Did you see? Have you seen? No, tesoro, era tutto buio. So, no, my darling, it was all dark. It was dark. So here we have the imperfect tense of essere, which is an auxiliary verb. You're going to find that everywhere in Italian. Era. So era. You'll see that third person singular conjugation of the verb essere in the imperfect in things like c'era una volta. There was once a time. Or in English, the equivalent would be once upon a time. You get it at the beginning of stories, for example. So that one's quite nice. I should say that these jokes are mainly for children, although one or two of them, they're not rude or anything, but maybe a little bit more complicated. So this one here, molto semplice, mi piace molto. Okay, so the next one, this one here, signora. Okay, so this is another person talking to someone, addressing them, signora. So you'll note that here we have lei. Lei è in sopravpeso. Scusa, sovrappeso. Don't know what I was thinking then. So you could also say lei è sovrappesa. Sovrappesa, which would be an adjective. You are overweight. In sovrappeso, to be overweight, basically. Something that you're weighing is more than it should be. Lei è. So lei, we're using lei è. It looks like you're saying she is. Okay, essentially you are. Let's go forward a little bit here so you can maybe see that. So you could say sovra, that would be peso. So that's an adjective. So you could use it without the in. Madam, you are overweight. Okay, so this is a doctor saying this. Le consiglio una dieta. I advise I advise to you, le, that means to her or to you in the formal lei form. I advise to you a diet. I advise you to go on a diet. So that's said in the formal lei form, which is essentially the third person singular. Instead of saying tu, which is informal and singular, or voi, which is either formal or informal, but when you're addressing you, plural, you guys, you all, y'all, all of you. This is the third person lei form. So, signora, lei è in sovra, over, if you like, or up, above, peso, P-E-S-O, weight. Pesare is the verb to weigh. Pesare, nice ARE verb. Le consiglio, that's from the verb consigliare, to advise, or to, there's a couple of other ways of translating that, but advise is a good one. Una dieta. I advise you go on a diet. Now, che dice la signora? Qual è la risposta? Okay, so what is the answer that she says? Let's come down with the desk. Okay, so this is what she says. Madam, you're overweight. I advise you to go on a diet. Dottore. Doctor, she says. Vuole scherzare? Scherzare. Okay, so there's an R there. This is the problem with writing stuff on the board. So let's just rewrite that. Let's do what we did last week. Or last video. Just ripped off a piece of this stuff and put it on with some blue tack, which I think is quite a nice, easy way of doing it. So are you joking? She says. Vuole scherzare? Sk. There's a sk sound. S-C-H in Italian it's pronounced sk. Like lo schermo, the screen. So it's a bit like school in English, that's sk sound. Scherzare. Are you joking? Are you trying to joke? Do you want to joke? Are you trying to joke? So you see this volere followed by a verb, an infinitive verb. Also in che cosa vuol dire? Cosa vuol dire? Cosa vuol dire? What does it want to mean? What does it mean? Do you mean to joke? Are you trying to joke? Okay, so, are you trying to joke? This is the rest of her response. Dove? Quando? Now this is interesting. This is a bit different than in English. Quando sarò morta? Quando sarò morta? Avrò, now this is all the future tense, sarò and avrò, from essere and avere, the two auxiliary verbs. Really useful to know these. Quando sarò morta, avrò tutta l'eternità. L'eternità, I'm doing too well with my writing today, am I? Tutta l'eternità per essere, what do you think she's going to say? Pelle e ossa. So, this quick-witted lady responds, ma dottore, vuole scherzare? Quando sarò morta avrò tutta l'eternità per essere pelle e ossa. So this is what she means. Doctor, are you joking? When I am dead, so in English we use like the present tense, followed by a future. When I'm dead, I will have the whole of eternity, all eternity, tutta l'eternità, tutta l'eternità, all of, tutta, agrees with eternità, which is feminine. All of the eternity, or all eternity. To be, per essere, so per means for the purpose of, being, pelle e ossa, skin and bone. I like this one because it's almost word for word the same as English. Pelle e ossa, skin and bone. Okay. Signora, lei è in sovrappeso. Lei è pesa. Le consiglio to you, in the third person formal, lei, I advise a diet. Doctor, are you joking? Do you mean to joke? Are you trying to joke? Quando sarò morta. So sarò and avrò. Future tense. Okay? Sarò, avrò. You've got this accent that goes over the O and the O. And that sort of clips it down to a really short pronunciation. And then eternità. Eternità. There's a sort of a grave accent on the A. So you get that on things like libertà, felicità, eternità, eternity, liberty. I can't remember what the other one was. Happiness, felicità. Clips the pronunciation down. So I have the rest of my death, basically. When I'm dead, then I'll have time to be skinny. So I thought that was nice. Sarò morta, when I will be dead. So morto is the masculine adjective, dead. Morta, feminine singular adjective. So if it was the plural, it would be morti or morte. That's very common in Italian. So those two I quite like. Let's go to the last one. È più lunga. This one's longer, so hopefully you can see it all. I will read it and you can listen. Just keeping an eye on the time. La maestra interroga un alunno. Ascolta Giovanni, voglio farti una domanda di geografia. Sei pronto? E Giovanni risponde di sì. Allora stai ben attento. È più lungo il Po o il Mississippi? E Giovanni risponde che è più lungo il Mississippi. Ma non soddisfatta, la maestra gli dice: ma bravo! E di quanto? E Giovanni le risponde di 9 lettere. I'm just going to check this actually, because we have the river Po, which is 2 letters. There's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In Italiano, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 lettere. So let's have a look at this here. The teacher, to interrogate, asks basically a student. Ascolta Giovanni, listen Giovanni. Voglio farti una domanda. I want to ask you a question. Voglio, I want, farti una domanda. Okay, so this is like chiedere, to ask, basically. Put a question to you, if you like. Di geografia, a geography question. So here, di geografia is used after una domanda, like an adjective. A geography question. Sei pronto? Are you ready? Sei pronto? So if she was asking Giovanna instead of Giovanni, she would say sei pronta with an A at the end, because it's an adjective that comes after the verb essere. E Giovanni risponde di sì, and Giovanni responds or answers yes. Allora stai ben attento. So she says, okay then, well then, pay attention, pay good attention. Stai ben attento, from stare attento. And attento agrees with the gender of Giovanni, singular masculine. So that's another adjective. Pay attention, be attentive if you like. È più lungo il Po? Is it longer the Po, the river Po, or il Mississippi? So which one is longer? The Po, the river Po, or the river Mississippi? E Giovanni risponde, so he answers, and Giovanni answers that it is more long the Mississippi, that the Mississippi is longer. Più lungo, più plus an adjective which agrees with the river, il fiume, means longer. Okay, so that's a comparative. Più o meno lungo. Ma non soddisfatta, but not satisfied. Soddisfatta is another adjective. We're focusing on adjectives here, I think. Soddisfatto for a male teacher. Not satisfied, however, or but not satisfied, the teacher, gli dice. So this one's useful, to him. To him, says. If this were to her, say, instead of Giovanni, it were Giovanna, she would have le dice. A bit like le consiglio, I to you advise. To you, she asks. Or to him, she asks. Li. So if you see li, it can mean to him, or for him. It's a indirect object pronoun. I'll try and remember to put that in my description. I'm just checking the time. But we'll see. So that's quite advanced, I'd say at least intermediate. So she says to him, well done, ma brava. That's another one that changes if it's a female. Brava. Bravo. E di quanto. So, and by how much? So by how much is it longer? So how much longer is the river, she was asking, and you know, kilometers supposedly. And Giovanni misunderstands. E Giovanni le risponde. He responds to her. Oh, scusa. Let's go down a little bit. Let's just use this. Eccolo! E Giovanni le risponde. He says to her, he answers to her, di 9 lettere. So instead of saying by however many kilometers, he says by 9 letters. So, I think that's really funny there. I hope you've enjoyed them, and I'm sorry that this is a little bit of a rush. Ma io sono un po' in fretta. I'm in a bit of a rush today. Dunque, so here we've had a look at lots of adjectives and how they change. We've also looked at, we've also looked at some useful verbs and the form lei. Signora, lei è in sovrappeso. You are. Lei è. So if you're speaking to someone formally, you want to use the lei form, and then you need to remember, which is a bit tricky, to conjugate any verbs that address or describe the person you're addressing formally in the third person singular, as if you're saying he or she is. Okay? Worth practicing. Then the other thing to mention is the le and gli. To him or to her. You'll get that often in front of conjugated verbs. Gli dice, he or she says to him. Le dice, he or she says to her. Le risponde, he or she responds to her. You'll see that with verbs of communication. Dire, rispondere, etc. Okay, so I'll summarize that in my video description, and I'll send the handout to all my club members. Please feel free to get in touch. All the details are below if you want to join the Italian club. I'd love to have new members. Grazie mille e alla prossima volta. Ciao!